morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to talk about Fusion Strike. Now, I want to get this right out at the beginning of the video. I want to be very nice and clear. What I'm doing in this video is I am making assumptions and deductions based on incomplete information. I'm going to be looking at what we know for a fact and what we can deduce from it, because I want to see what Fusion Strike is looking like, because Fusion Strike is looking a little bit weird. Now, I've told you this before, but if we look at something like Evolving Skies, for instance, that is, we can look at that as an example of how a set is generally made up. You see, Evolving Skies is our Sword and Shield 7, so it will be made up of Japan's Sword and Shield 7, which is the double set Blue Sky Stream and Skyscraping Perfect, which they are both Sword and Shield 7. Japan tends to have double sets quite a bit. And then it's also made up of the previous mini set, i.e. our Sword and Shield 7 will have Japan's Sword and Shield 6A, which is EV Heroes, which makes it... I'm sorry, I know I've mentioned this before, but there were so many people suggesting EV Heroes wouldn't be in Evolving Skies. That was ridiculous, purely because we always get the mini set in the appropriate main set over here. So essentially, Evolving Skies, you have two 70-card sets that make up the double set, and a 70-card mini set EV Heroes, so essentially you end up with three 70-card sets over in Japan that come over here as Evolving Skies, and it makes up a set which is 237 cards, but that's including secret rares. Not including secret rares, it's 203. So, that makes sense. We've lost a couple cards here and there. There's a little bit of shuffling around, but other than that, it makes perfect sense. Okay. Plus, of course, you got to bear in mind that in Japan and over here, secret rares have different definitions. So, things like full art cards and alternate art Pokemon Vs would be counted as secret rares in Japan, so wouldn't be in their main set, so to speak, whereas over here they aren't secret rares, so they are counted when looking at the quote-unquote main set. So it vaguely matches up with a few things here and there. We have to cut a few cards to get there, but generally speaking, it about works out. Well, Fusion Strike, there's not a double set over in Japan. There is just Fusion Arts, which is a single set. And we end up with no mini set. There is no Sword and Shield 7A. It doesn't exist. So now, instead of getting around 210 Japanese cards to put into our set, we're getting 100. Which would probably make the majority of you go, oh, well, that means it's going to be a smaller set. And you would think so, ladies and gentlemen. You would think so. Except we have had it officially confirmed on the Pokémon website that Fusion Strike will contain over 260 cards. Now, that is not including secret rares, so in the same way that Evolving Skies had 203, this has over 260. And with secret rares is almost certainly going to take the title from Cosmic Eclipse of the largest set we've ever seen in the history of the Pokemon trading card game. Which at this stage should be confusing to a few of you. Because I just told you that rather than taking 210 Japanese cards to make the set, we are taking 100, and yet it's going to end up being the biggest set ever? That doesn't make any sense, ladies and gentlemen. That doesn't make any sense. So what's going on? And the answer essentially has to be Fusion Strike is a bit of a clear-up set. It is a set which is getting us back to even, so to speak. Essentially, I mean, if you think about sets like Legendary Treasures or Call of Legends, these were sets that came around to essentially bridge the gap. Now, these were different because they were largely reprint sets. Now, some alternate art, and to be fair, Call of Legends was largely alternate art, a lot of which Japan never actually got, which was really cool. But these were sets that came at the end of a block to essentially clear up, ready for the new thing to come along. Call of Legends was the last set before we got the black and white base set, and Legendary Treasures was the last set before we got the X and Y base set. i.e. before a new block came in. And there is a chance that that's what's going on here. Again, completely unconfirmed. This is not something which has been announced or anything like that. But we did see those trademarks the other day, which are clearly for a Dialga and a Palkia set, which would, a Space Juggler and Time Gazer, which would fit in with the upcoming releases of the Gen 4 remakes. Again, none of this is confirmed. I'm just joining dots here. Let's be super clear about that. But this seems to be, and it is the end of year 2, I should say, set number 8, the end of the second year of Sword and Shield. But we've got impending trademarks for what is clearly a set to join in with the Gen 4 remakes. Unconfirmed, but seems pretty likely. And we've got this clear-up set, and things are looking a little bit weird. So, with all of that set aside then, how do we get to 260 cards? And the answer is, there were a bunch of cards cut from Evolving Skies, and there were a bunch of cards cut from Chilling Reign. Although, interestingly enough, some of the cards that got cut from Chilling Reign did then actually get put into Evolving Skies. So, to use Okacheke as an example, because, man, that artist is absolutely amazing, the Psyduck that should have been in Chilling Reign actually ended up being put into Evolving Skies. And look, we got it in the end, and that's the most important thing. Look how beautiful this Psyduck is. But, and this is the really sad news, there is a Stuffle which was supposed to be in Evolving Skies, which we never actually got. And that is some beautiful artwork. So first things first, it is overwhelmingly likely that the cards that were cut from Chilling Reign and Evolving Skies will be popped into Fusion Strike. The issue with that is that the cards that were cut were not really Pokemon Vs and VMAXs and all of that. There are a few along those lines. So for instance, Full Art and Rainbow Rare Shauna were cut. And we could look at, for instance, Schoolboy and Schoolgirl, which are not particularly good cards, incidentally, but they are still examples of, you know, the fancy cards getting cut. But generally speaking, your gold cards, your Vs, your VMAXs, etc., they were not the ones that were cut. So if we do get these cards coming from Chilling Reign and Evolving Skies, that is going to be a lot more regular rares, etc., rather than lots more secret rares. And while we're here, let's stop on this for a second. Because, of course, when we've got 3 sets worth of cards coming into our English set, that is 3 sets worth of special rares, secret rares, call them what you will. Which is why we end up with so many of them. I mean, Evolving Skies had 72 cards that were full art or above. 72 that were full art, rainbow rare, alternate art, or gold. That's ridiculous. It's not going to be the case for Fusion Strike, because Fusion Strike doesn't have that many cards to draw from in terms of main set cards. So we've got the cards from Fusion Arts, we've got the cards that were cut from Chilling Reign and Evolving Skies. What else do we have? Well, we've essentially had it confirmed that the Gengar and Inteleon VMAX High Class decks from over in Japan are going to be in the set. We've seen Gengar already on one of the booster pack artworks. And we've already had confirmation that Inteleon VMAX, the Gigantamax form, is going to be in the set. And to be fair, not only is that a new V and VMAX, but in those VMAX decks there were alternate art versions of Gengar and Inteleon that were, well, we don't know if they're going to be in our set, but it's pretty likely I'd say they will. There are not rainbow rare versions, and the Vs do not have full arts or alternate arts. It is just the alternate arts of the VMAXs, but there's at least a couple more chase cards. But even then, a regular VMAX combo would bring with it, potentially, a full art and an alternate art V, and a rainbow rare and an alternate art VMAX. Here, rather than those 4 secret rares, we're just bringing in 1. Like, exactly 1. So that's very, very different, ladies and gentlemen. That's very, very different indeed. It means that the amount of secret rares, super rares, call them what you will, is going to be significantly lower than it would be in a regular set. Now, we have also had it confirmed that there are a couple of other VMAXs coming. The Rillaboom, the Rapid Strike, there was a promo in Japan, is coming here. It's a new Pokemon VMAX, but it's not a good one. And there is a Single Strike Cinderace, which again, it's here and it's cool, but it's not good. It's nice to have, but again, there were promos. They're not bringing full arts, alternate arts, rainbow rares, any of that. It is just the V and the VMAX. So even with 20 Pokemon V and 8 VMAX, a bunch of them will not have full arts, rainbow rares, etc. I'm expecting a number of secret rares in Fusion Strike to be a lot lower, as in nothing like 72. So if you're annoyed at the amount of secret rares we've had in sets recently, this should be pretty good news. And then there's the extra stuff. So for instance, there are a bunch of promo Pokemon Vs that would usually make their way into, their own V boxes over here. But for instance, Dodrio, Dracovish, and Breloom have all been promo Pokemon Vs over in Japan that had not made their way over here before. So they're all ones that could, and I think there's a pretty good chance will end up being in this particular set. Again, unconfirmed, but it makes sense. Though again, with them being promo cards over in Japan, they are not going to bring with them alternate arts or full arts or anything like that. It will just be the Pokemon V normally. In the Sword and Shield era, we have not been getting alternate arts, etc. that Japan haven't, so I wouldn't expect that to start now. And if it is a set which is being made up of a bunch of promo Vs and VMAXs, plus the ones from Fusion Arts, that is going to be extremely interesting, because it means that there are really going to be a lot fewer of these secret rares. Now, the other thing we need to mention here is this family box over in Japan. Because this is the new thing they did, which is learn to play and all of that. And it's very, very cool. And there are 6 new Pokemon Vs in there, so they could well be making their way over in Fusion Strike. Now, I'm not entirely sure. You see, when this happened in the past, because this is the second family set Japan have done, we had the Battle Academy. And that, not entirely, but largely kind of reprinted Japan's family set. However, those cards were also in Hidden Fates, but then again, Hidden Fates was an extra set, a special set, it wasn't a main set. So there is a possibility that those family deck cards end up over here, in our Fusion Strike set, but it is not confirmed. I think it's overwhelmingly likely that they are going to be in a second Battle Academy. We have seen a retailer listing for that. It could be in this set as well, we don't know. Now, for anyone doing the maths, that is actually between the promos and the family deck and Fusion Arts in Japan, which will almost certainly have 8 Pokemon V, because those sets always do. We can be expecting 21 Pokemon V, which means one of them is not going to make the cut. And this is really interesting to me. All of this is super interesting. Generally speaking, when Evolving Skies is coming out, I can sit here with a fair degree of certainty in advance and go, right, well, here's what's going to be in the set. Because it's just going to be those 3 Japanese sets with a few changes here and there. Whereas with Fusion Strike, well, it's going to be Fusion Arts. It's going to be the Gengar and Inteleon VMAX deck, which incidentally do have other cards in which are new other than just your V and VMAX. And then we know that the promo Rillaboom and Cinderace are coming. And we imagine that these gym promos like Dodrio are coming, but we don't actually know for certain. And we assume that the cards which have been cut from Evolving Skies and Chilling Reign are coming, but again, we don't know for certain. And this is going to be a different set to what we've seen lately. Chilling Reign and Evolving Skies were both very, very similar sets. So was Battle Styles, to be fair. 3 Japanese sets, a double and a mini, mashed together, brought over here, jobs are good 'em. It seems, and again, I've shown you my work in here and I've explained it all through. None of this is confirmed except the things I've said. So we know that Inteleon and Gengar VMAX are coming. We know that Rillaboom and Cinderace are coming. We know there are 260 cards, 20 Pokemon V, etc. A lot of this we know, but the rest of it, we are just making what I think are very sensible connections. But the fact of the matter is, this looks like a clear upset. It looks like they are catching us up with Japan and just popping in all of those cards that we've not had chance to get up to now. So the conclusion is, it is likely to be the biggest set ever, but it is also likely to have significantly fewer secret rares than we would generally expect to see in a set like we've seen lately, because a lot of the Vs and VMAXs are going to come through without the secret rares to accompany them. That means that there are going to be far more non-holo rares and holo rares than usual, which then will also make the set a lot easier to complete. So if you're going for a master set, this will, even with the large size, because of the significantly fewer secret rares and the more regular rares, that is going to make it an easier set to complete. We mentioned near the beginning of the video about the fact this could be the end of the Sword and Shield block. This could be your classic cleanup set before they move to something else. That is completely unconfirmed. That is going off the fact that it seems to be a bit of a clear-up set, combined with these trademarks from these what seem to be Gen 4 remake sets. Again, none of which is confirmed other than the trademarks, which again seem pretty obvious, but we don't know until it's actually been confirmed. For what it's worth, that is not to say anything negative about Fusion Strike. There's going to be a bunch of good stuff in Fusion Strike. Those fusion Pokemon look nuts. I am hyped for the set. Set looks cool. I'm just telling you what it seems like the set is going to be and what the set is going to do. This is not to be any kind of negative. This isn't me moaning or any of that silly stuff. It is just me saying this is what the set looks like it's going to be. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we know about Fusion Strike and what we can deduce in what I think is a fairly sensible manner. But now it's over to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen. I want to know what you think about all of this stuff. I want to know if you think I'm right. I want to know what other predictions you've got. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.